A shipping port represents the heavy, physical reality of global trade. Thousands of tons of cargo in constant motion. Orchestrating this volume now relies on an invisible digital network that directs every crane and hull in real time. For Vietnam, 2025 marks a definitive milestone, the conclusion of a 5-year economic plan and the activation of a new 10-year strategy focused on the next decade of growth. Central to this strategy is the concept of smart logistics. It treats data processing with the same priority as physical infrastructure, using tools like a digital warehouse management system to oversee inventory in real time. This strategic shift responds directly to an increasingly volatile global trade environment. Geopolitical fragmentation and frequent extreme weather events are disrupting established trade lanes, forcing logistics providers to find new ways to maintain schedule reliability. The 2025 strategy posits that for a manufacturing hub to remain competitive, its digital infrastructure must be as sophisticated as its deep-sea berths. The stakes are evident in the sheer density of Vietnam's current terminal operations. The physical scale required to keep pace with global demand is massive. Despite global trade risks, manufacturing output and export demand in Vietnam have proven resilient, continuing to scale as international partners seek stable production sites. Much of this growth is driven by nearshoring, where companies relocate supply chains closer to end markets or within stable regional blocks, placing higher throughput demands on Vietnamese ports. However, physical expansion has reached a point of diminishing returns. Simply paving more land for containers does not solve the friction caused by management complexity. As volumes grow, manual methods for routing trucks and managing last-mile deliveries hit a mathematical limit on efficiency. Solving the fragmentation of 21st-century supply chains requires more than physical space. It requires a new layer of operational intelligence. Establishing this intelligence first requires a baseline of physical infrastructure, a massive capital investment justified by macroeconomic forecasts. This data shows global GDP growth forecasts through 2026. While the OECD projects a flat line, upward revisions from the IMF and the EU suggest a continued rise in the external demand that powers the Vietnamese economy. To meet this demand, the government has reached a major infrastructure goal, completing 3,000 kilometers of national expressway by 2025. This expansion extends to the aviation sector, where capacity for air cargo is being rapidly scaled. The immense footprint of the Long Thanh International Airport construction site illustrates this. Once Phase 1 completes, it acts as a major cargo handling multiplier. Completing this physical network is the Lao Cai-Hanoi-Haiphong Railway, linking inland production centers directly to the coast. But this triad of road, air, and rail operates at lower efficiency if the different modes remain disconnected. Without a centralized system to coordinate them, the points where goods transfer from rail to truck or ship to plane become chronic bottlenecks. Physical infrastructure is the hardware. Without a sophisticated routing system to manage the flow, the result is merely a larger, more expensive traffic jam. Managing this new hardware effectively requires a specific tech stack designed for smart logistics. The first layer is the Internet of Things, or IoT. Tagging physical assets with sensors turns every piece of cargo into a live data node. This continuous stream of real-time data flows into a centralized data lake, replacing manual tracking. The second layer is big data, merging real-time locations with historical and weather trends. Next, machine learning scans this data, predicting supply chain disruptions. Finally, at the top, the artificial intelligence core uses this processed data to issue autonomous commands back to physical assets. This AI optimizes warehouse storage dynamically and adjusts the routes of automated vehicle fleets to bypass congestion instantly. This 4-part architecture transforms a reactive supply chain into a predictive ecosystem capable of self-correction. Beyond operational speed, technological adoption is being driven by the strict legal requirements of global markets. Major corporations are moving away from passive ESG reporting toward active, verifiable supply chain responsibility. Markets like the EU and the US now require mathematical evidence of carbon efficiency and labor standards across the entire supply chain. Manual data entry and paper records cannot provide this level of verification at a scale involving millions of cargo units. This makes the smart tech stack a necessity. IoT and big data are the only systems capable of producing the transparent, auditable records needed to maintain market access. By 2025, digital integration has become a prerequisite for participation in high-value global trade. This convergence of physical infrastructure and digital architecture represents the realization of Vietnam's 2025 logistics model. We can see this on the East-West Economic Corridor, where real-time data optimization increases the volume of cargo moving across borders without the need for additional lanes. This synergy lowers structural costs and raises the total capacity of the national network. This river port illustrates the result: high-density operations managed by smart systems that handle record volumes with minimal friction. Vietnam's position now rests on the seamless handoff between its deep-water berths and the AI that optimizes them. As the 2025-2035 strategy takes full effect, the foundation for the next decade is now in place. Vietnam is shifting focus away from the low-margin movement of generic cargo. The new objective is the management of climate-resilient, data-transparent global supply chains. By successfully integrating these smart systems, Vietnam secures its role as a premier hub in the next era of global trade.